G'day, Aussie Bonsai bloke here, how you going? Today, got the hiccups going on. As you can see, I've dug a lot of trees here. I dug them from the old house. We're at the halfway house at the moment. Dug all these trees from the old house, which basically field grown or chucked in the ground to let it thicken up. Most of them, when I put them in, were probably as thick as that little shoot there, if you can see it. Half the thickness of your little finger. And then, anyway, so this is about five years later, maybe 4 to 5 years later after chucking them in the ground. But I had no choice but to dig them because, you know, we're moving house, so had to dig them up. Ideally, some of them I probably would have left longer, and there's still some left in the ground there that never got thick enough or whatever to, you know, make into a bonsai. So I've left them there, and I've dug up what I've liked after the 4 to 5 years. So I just dug up some that I actually like. So I've got a few. I'll run you through a few if I can stop with these hiccups. I think I ate a bit of food too fast, and now I got the hiccups. Bit of indigestion. We got the apricot. This is an apricot. No, it's not. Yeah, no. Hang on. I think that's an apricot. This one here is a crepe myrtle. Pretty crappy looking, but I felt sorry for it because it was stuck in the middle of a heap of other trees and it wasn't getting any sunlight. So I felt sorry for this little bugger. See what happens to it. Here's another crepe myrtle. Here's a Jap maple. Got a fairly nice spread of roots, so we'll see what happens with that one. Another crepe myrtle. Here's another big crepe myrtle. It looked quite small in the middle of all the other trees, but when I dug it out, it's actually a nice size. So yeah, there's another crepe myrtle. Nice if I can get rid of these hiccups. That's I think it's just a radiata pine. I think that's a daughter's plant from where we were at. So I dug it up for her, so that one will just be planted in a pot, and when we get a new house we'll chuck it in the ground and she can deal with that one. This is a Chinese elm. It's got quite a nice flare at the base there. I'll show you after, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all these trees one by one, probably on hyperlapse, otherwise it'll take hours. I'm going to be here for about 3 hours. It's about 10 o'clock at night, and I imagine I'll be here for another 3 hours just sorting through them all, sorting through the roots, sorting through the tops. I'll be here till 1 AM probably, but I'll do it all. I'll do a lot of it in hyperlapse, I think. Then maybe have a bit of a chat at the end. This one, I don't know, I forget what I dug up. I'm pretty sure it's a crepe myrtle. Could be a, yeah, it should be a crepe myrtle. This one's a hawthorn. Now, you know what that one is? I just remembered. That one there, that's a pomegranate. So I'll have to go through that one, sort it out, I reckon. I think that's a pomegranate. Might surprise me later when it shoots. This one's a English oak. This was a complete nightmare to dig out. pretty crappy root system on it, but we'll see what happens. This is another Chinese elm. It's got very slow taper the whole way. I was actually thinking on this one about making a really tall, geez, these hiccups are annoying, about making a really tall tree on this one, rather than just cutting it back here and doing a short squat tree. I was thinking of making a tall, elegant sort of a tree. We'll see what happens with that one. Anyway, so that's all the trees. There's about 12 or 13 there. They're all deciduous, apart from the daughter's pine. Hopefully hers survives. One of these is the pomegranate, but I'm not sure which actually. Not that one, not that one. Must be that one. That one must be the pomegranate. I know it was a tangled up sort of a mess. Yeah, that's the pomegranate. Anyway, so I'll go into it all, and I've got to hose all the roots out, cut off branches that I don't want, cut the trunks down to where I think I want them to shoot. Because you're better off doing all this work now than doing it later. Just check. Yeah, you're better off doing all this work now than later, because you know there's no point in leaving all this growth on now and then in a year's time decide to cut it back to there. If you want to cut it back to there, cut it back now. Cut the roots back now. These things are really fattened up in the ground. They've got a lot of energy stored in the trunk, in the vascular system. So because of all that stored energy in the trunk, now's the perfect time to cut them back however you want. Cut the roots back however you want, and they'll shoot out. Yeah, really sorry about all these hiccups, but struggling with them at the moment. Hopefully they'll disappear. Alright, cheers for watching, and I'll probably just do like a close-up on hyperlapse of each tree, I think, especially considering I've got the hiccups at the moment. Cheers. good day. I think my hiccups are gone. I've been working on these trees for a good, I don't know, hour and a half. I've mostly done most of them. I just got the last one to go. I thought I'd just show you at least just one tree, the full steps I go through. I think I've done it in a previous video I've showed, but I'll show it again. I'll just do one tree, the steps I go through. So basically when I dug this up, hey Max, how you going? How you going, bud? Yeah, so basically when I dug this up, I cut this main branch off the top here, and I cut some side branches off and just shortened it all up a bit. So from now we're going to pick a front. You know, that's probably not going to be a front. Tree sort of leans that way anyway, and that's quite bare at the back. You've got to look at the roots as well as the branching and the shape of the trunk. So I guess on here you could say, well, that direction, you know, is quite straight, no real shape, roots are all over the place. You could cut back a couple of these top roots and see what's underneath, because quite often the best roots are underneath. Okay, so it is better, you know, you can see it is a bit better, which is good, because if that becomes the back of the tree and it's still that good, that's really good, because quite often the back of the tree is fairly crap and you just try to hide everything. So if the back of the tree can be almost the front, that's a good thing. That branch is dead there, so I think that one was alive. It's alive. So I quite like this big fat branch out to the right. I think we'll keep that big fat branch. If it backbuds back here a bit, good, but if it doesn't, because it's got a bit of shape to it, I'm actually happy to keep that how it is. So I'm not going to cut that one right off. I might even just cut it back to here. Oh, that's some hardwood. Got me snips stuck now. That's why you have the old loppers. The old loppers are having a bit of trouble because they aren't cleanly cutting right through all the time now. I don't know what's going on. Might have to sharpen them. So if that goes out and that branch is out there, that's good. Probably, I really like the roots along here. The roots along there is pretty good. By the way, it's just after midnight here, so putting in a big effort today. Glad I got rid of those bloody hiccups. They're a pain. So obviously this root here, I don't know how much you can see here, but this root here is above the plane of all the other roots. This root's way too fat. But what I'm going to hope to happen is I'm going to cut it down. So I'll cut this one off. What I'm gonna hope is that if I cut this on an angle in, it shoots new roots all around and tries to divide it. So I'll just cut through if I can. Alright, that's that cut through. So now hopefully if we have that as a nice root system, that as a first branch, secondary trunk type thing, because deciduous trees like to go up. Hopefully now we'll get some nice spread of roots along here. It'll callus over, shoot some new roots out here hopefully. I'll bury it probably up to here, just so that that can shoot out. And on this side it's not too bad either, so probably just chop some of these long roots back a bit. It's actually not a bad little tree really, considering it's just grown in the ground. Field grown tree. You know, field growing's the way to go, you know, like I reckon it's only 4 to 5 years old from a seedling, I think. I grew most of these cuttings and seedlings myself, and it's been definitely no more than 5 years, maybe only 4. So it's definitely a way to do it. Alright, got rid of a big one out the back. Okay, so you got good division there. Try and create a bit more. There's one root going up, which is no good because it's probably going to end up out the pot. So that's pretty much it. We'll just chop this one back to see, make this a bit neater. This here's an area where you could get disease because it's not nice neat cuts. It's like it was from when I dug it up out the ground actually. The old hand snips. The ones I use on the grapevines are pretty good, but I still struggle with this sort of caliber roots. Okay, so pretty much got to cut back. I'm hoping for more division here. That's going to be a first good branch. Goes sort of up, which is good for deciduous. There's no branching in that section, but if it does shoot out there, I'll keep it. If it doesn't, I just quite like the shape of that branch, and I'll probably try and keep the angle of that at a point where this branch here will come in handy. Cut it back a bit so it gives it a bit of shape. I'll probably cut that bit off. Hey man, you come in the picture. Oh, good boy, aren't you? Good boy. Right, now I'll probably got to cut that off, but I really don't know how I'm going to get to it, to be honest. I need to prop it up. Maybe prop it up on another bit of wood. And to be honest, I can get to this later with a carver or something. I bought these hand saws just today, but I promised myself I wouldn't dig in the dirt with them. I would keep them out the dirt. But then as things got hard digging, I started putting them in the dirt just to cut some roots, make my life a bit easier. But now it's making my life harder because they're already sort of semi-blunt. Bit of a worry, bit of a pain. Really should look after my cutting tools a bit more so I don't have this trouble, but anyway, here's what it is. Alright, so that's pretty much going to be it for this one. just, you know, like you've just got, I guess it's like, it's a little bit complicated, but I guess the main thing is, so I've got rid of the bottom roots here, big fat roots. I've got rid of the high roots to make it down to the plane of the roots that you want to keep. I've kept the nice lower ones which give it the best flare. You can see in the trunk it gives it a really nice flare there. Got a really nice branch here, and then we'll see what happens with the top. But I also want to say that when they're sitting in the ground, you know, you can't really tell. Like that was probably in the ground up to there, then I dug it out. You can imagine that it doesn't look very interesting, but once you dig it out, you got that nice flare, the roots, that first nice big fat first branch, and all this, you know. You can end up, this one could end up being a really nice tree. And I almost didn't dig it because I thought, well, not quite sure how good it is, but it ended up being pretty good. And a lot of these trees here have got nice roots, but when I show them, you probably won't see the roots because I've buried a lot of them back up to here, just so that way it keeps all the roots nice and moist, so that hopefully they'll all divide and ramify, and then next time I dig it up and put them in a proper pot or whatever I end up doing with them, they'll have some more nice roots to keep. If I was to, you know, raise it up to that level, all this would dry back. You wouldn't get the roots that you want there. So in the first stages of a tree, especially when they're first out of the ground, you have to rebury them quite deep just to get the roots to grow. But after that, you can start lifting them up in time. Next few repots, you can just start lifting them up a bit. Anyway, cheers for watching Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.